we're not the type of band where everyone just sits in silence and waits for Black Betty at the end. They sort of go nuts right from the start.
To celebrate the 20th anniversary of their seminal album Tonite, Alright, Spiderbait are heading on an extensive run of shows, including one here in Newcastle at Bar on the Hill on the 30th of August. Tonite, Alright has also just been released on vinyl for the first time, featuring alternative artwork and a different version of their single Tonight. Here's the chat that we had with the absolute powerhouse that is Kram. I actually want to start off by talking about your recent tour with the ARC, because that was the last time you were here in Newcastle. The show went absolutely off here at the Civic Theatre. I'd love to know, what was that experience like for you getting to tour Led Zeppelin 4?
Oh, that was insane. Like, I think, and because it was the first show, and it's good you should ask that, because I think the Civic is one of the most beautiful venues in the whole country. There used to be the Cambridge, which I used to love. That's a tiny pub that used to be there. And we've played a lot of festivals over the years, including Groove in the Moo a couple of years ago, which was awesome. But for a theatre, I think it's one of the finest places to play. And we did it. That was the debut of that tour that we did. And, because I was mostly singing, so I think it was a bit of pressure on me to be able to nail the Robert Plant stuff. And the show was, I would describe it as euphoric. It was really exciting. So thanks so much for saying that. It actually has really influenced the stuff I'm writing for the new Spiderbait stuff and my new solo stuff I'm working on. I always sort of knew I could sing that way, but I didn't know I could sing that way so well and so often. And it was like doing this tour to celebrate Black Betty and Tonite, Alright, and I guess our band's longevity and success. It's been really interesting to look back and then as a way also to look forward at the same time. And so, thanks. We just were really blown away. It's probably our most successful, and we'd actually love to do it again. So this talk of, I think we do one of those shows every year, and we always look forward to coming back to the Civic, but we'll be coming to the uni before that to play the Spiderbait show.
Yes, totally. So celebrating 20 years of the album Tonite, Alright. I would love to know, do you have a favourite song from that album that you love playing now?
Well, I do love playing Black Betty. It's funny, like I remember thinking about, think Gautier or think Tones and I, and are often known around the world for that song. I know we did a show in New York last year at a festival in Central Park, and the response was huge, obviously, to that song, but we were stoked that the fans knew heaps of our other songs too, because sometimes you can feel like you don't want to feel like you're a one-trick pony sort of thing, I guess. But the most important thing in a way of having a big hit for me is that you want to love playing it. And if it's the good thing about Black Betty is it's such a heavy song and it's so physical that it's just like driving in a drag racing car. It's just so intense, and I just love that so much. And it's a way to absolve yourself, I guess, of whether, how's the audience going to respond to it or whatever, or are they all waiting for it? And fortunately, I think for most of our shows, we're not the type of band where everyone just sits in silence and waits for Black Betty at the end. They sort of go nuts right from the start. So I do love that one. But I also love playing a song called Tonight, which is on that album, which is a very different song for us. And it was also a single. And it's funny because we discovered a new version of that song that we released on this record too, that has Janet singing on it. And it just sounds so beautiful, and we forgot that we'd ever done that. And it's 20 years ago. My brain cells are probably a bit rotten. So we put that on the record as well. So that's one of my other favourite songs as well.
Mm. And looking back at this collection, does it make you feel proud, getting to re-release it with these like new versions or versions that weren't previously released?
Yeah, I mean, we've changed the artwork. We reversed the artwork around. I think it looks so sick. Like, it's even better. Make a great T-shirt. I also really like the fact that I got a chance to change the order around and, add an extra song. And just all the artwork was a bit different from before we had. And, it's really nice. When you do a re-release, you want it to be something really cool. So, it's been great.
Yeah. And what kind of impact would you say that, reordering the tracks has had on the overall sound of the album?
For me, I think it's improved it. I wanted to make a bit more of a splash of Janet's songs, because I think one of the things about Tonite All Right that maybe hasn't been sort of discussed, and it's pretty normal if you have such a huge hit that 90% of the record is to talk about that. But the quality of Janet's songs on this record are just so strong. Like, I think, much stronger than mine, and so I wanted to make it a bit more of a feature of those. And also, for me, it's a refreshing way to listen to the record. There's you don't have to have the order in one particular way. And it's been interesting. The whole experience has got us really excited to work together a lot more. I've been doing a lot of work on the new Spiderbait record at the moment, and prior to that, I had this idea that because we're celebrating Black Betty, we should do a little EP of Black Betties and call it A Bunch of Betties. So we've recorded a whole bunch of other versions of Black Betty that we're going to release as an EP as well. And yeah, I think that's going to be really cool too. So yeah, there's a lot of things in the same melting pot.
Wow. What can we expect from those versions? Like, how different are they going to be?
It's funny because there's an acoustic version, which I think sounds really awesome, which is really stripped back. We discovered this old sort of techno track that we did years around the same time, and we didn't use it for the record. And we took it into the studio, and I did a new vocal version of Black Betty on top of that, and it's actually a tone higher than the original. So wow. It's actually pretty extreme. And there's also a live version that we discovered from many years ago. I think it was from a Splendor in the Grass festival, and that's just so fast and mad. And so it's almost like, you're listening to the same song, but they're all completely different, and including the original. And we did play with Dom Dollar at the My Music Bowl last year, who'd done a remix of the song too, and we combined our version with his version live, which was really exciting. And so, yeah, it's just weird. It's like it can be reinterpreted so fresh. Sometimes I think these things, can be fraught with danger if it's a bit too repetitive, but this is definitely not. So we're looking forward to putting that out.
Yeah, amazing. I actually haven't been to a Spiderbait show before. I'm very keen to make this my first, but from what I've heard, your performances can be quite jammy. What excites you about, getting to create new versions like on the spot pretty much from these jams?
I think it's a big part of our band is the fact that we never quite 100% know what's going to happen. I never prepare other than what the set list is, or sort of visualize, for a tour like this, trying to visualize what the show will be. But you don't really prepare what you're going to say, how you're going to feel. It's impossible. So you live in a kind of perpetual state of improvisation around a certain structure. And that's always been great for us. So it's the same for Whit and for Janet. Like, it just does help to make every show really spontaneous and fresh. Yeah. And I think that's a big part of our love of playing live, is wanting it to have that energy, so you can just create things on the spot. And then the weird thing is if someone doesn't video it or record it, I would have completely forgotten it half an hour later that I ever did it. So, I just like living that, on that sort of edge.
Yeah, that sounds scary, but obviously you must nail it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fantastic. Look, can't wait to see you here at the Bar on the Hill on the 30th of August. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Thanks a lot. Sorry, my camera's a bit skewy. My computer keeps falling off. But thanks so much. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in Newcastle. We can't wait to come and celebrate with you guys. So thanks so much, Bonnie.